every day of the week. We always try to come with something at 7 o'clock that will make you a better person, help you become a better person, God willing, and also may help, uh, enlighten us or encourage us because God knows life is so hard as it is. I think we all can stand a moment of encouragement. So that's what the purpose of tonight's show is. What is life? All right. So again, thank you so much. All right, I appreciate you tuning in, Mama. Thank you so much. Hello, Joyce. That's my mother for all of you that don't know who she is. If you see Joyce Horton on here, that is my mother, and I appreciate all the support she gives the entire platform. Good to see you. And again, if you are watching and you can type in, let me know where you're hailing in from. What's going on, my brother Dwight? What's going on? I look like Alan. I hope I can be as smart as my twin cousin Alan. That's a smart dude. God bless him. I love him. All righty. So thank you again, Dwight, for tuning in. I'm not gonna be long. Be real brief, y'all. Now, if y'all want to talk about this at length, you're more than welcome to give me a call directly on. You can call us on the Daily Smoke phone number, or you can call me directly, and I'll put you up to the mic so that way they can hear you. My number is 346-253-5348. I'm your boy, Brother Ron. I'm with the Daily Smoke. I am one of 3 members, founding members of this platform, but I am one of about 7 or 8 members that keep this platform going, and I'm deeply indebted to each and every one of you that's a part of this journey with us. So, as they always do in church, especially Baptist churches, they will say giving honor to God and then pastor, and then they go down this whole road. Then they get to what they want to talk about. So we have to do our first and foremost due. Thanks be to God for this moment to be able to sit in front of y'all and talk with y'all. Second thing is I want to thank our sponsors, supporters, affiliates, starting with Bangin 832 Radio, www.bangin832.com. Please check them out. Looking like out. Please check them out every opportunity you can. They really do promote Houston homegrown music. Now here's the deal. See, Bangin 832 Radio, bangin832.com. Like, you may be an old school dude and you still have a certain style of rap and music you like. They'll put it on. You from here or Louisiana, this area. They'll put you out there. Let's say like you're a younger kid. Y'all got different beat, which I like, by the way. I feel it is new rap, so I don't care who y'all are. If you don't like it, that ain't my problem. I'm all about it. It seems like the dumber it get, the better the beat sound. But anyway, they'll put you on as well. So just because I may be one of those older dudes, don't think that we still don't have a connection. We would love for you to go and support them brothers and sisters over at bangin832.com, okay? Please do so. Ask for Brother Michael McQuarrie. He'll take care of you, I promise you, all right? Thank you again, platform brothers and sisters over at Bangin832. Next up, we got Tamia Anderson, www.tamiaanderson.com to get with life, get a massage. I can't do the song in front of y'all, man. I'm a little bit, shy, what have you, but Tamia Anderson, she will take care of you. She was one of our first sponsors on this platform. We're forever indebted to her, her contributions and whatever she's brought to us, her support of us, whether we're having a function like at Coogee Jagalia where we first met, or if it's someone coming onto our platform as for an interview, she's always more than willing. She pops tall front and center every single time. To me, if you're watching, we're deeply indebted to you. Thank you so much for your patronage. And then next up, we have the Buy Black Marketplace, the ultimate black market experience. I believe I'm going off of memory, okay? So I'm sorry if I got some of this wrong. But basically, it's a pop-up shop where if you want to sell goods or if you make goods you'd like to put out to the public, they have the platform, the forum for you to do so. If you want to go ahead and you don't want to make anything, but you do want to purchase items that are for sale, from the community, unique in and of themselves, please go check out the Shrine of the Black Madonna every first and third Saturday of each month. And I believe they go from 12 to 6 p.m., okay? Unfortunately, I don't have their address right now, but if someone is in the room and you know the address, please, by all means, put the address up because they can use all the support they can get. And if you don't want to purchase nor buy, or sell anything, hey, at least go and show your support. Give your time, give your energy, give your personhood to go and feed the homeless or feed those that need food. And God knows with this economy, we could all use, could use some help these days, especially when it comes to eating healthy, eating right, eating lean, and eating clean. So please go and support the Shrine of the Black Madonna, members of the Shrine. If you're watching, whether it's now, whether it's 20 years from now, thank you for your support, and we mean that. Thank you so much for your support. We also have Puff Pass It, CBD and more from entrepreneur Tanya Ashley. And I cannot wait for Tanya Ashley and our guest from last night, Brother A.K. Babers, president of A.K. Realty, be able to meet, because she took the grassroots route to build her business. And she didn't have any money or limited funding. She had a dream, and she had a few friends that had resources. And now, if you go to Puff Pass It CBD and more off of Cavalcade, I guarantee you'll see exactly what it means to have a vision in your mind and bring it to pass, which is why we do this podcast, which is why other individuals joined us and now are equally a part of this podcast. Because sometimes when you see something that's worth your time, something that is worth your energy, something that is worth your money, or what have you, the first thing and the best thing you can do is jump on board, because you're heading in the right direction. You're heading in the same direction, rather. And that's exactly what Miss Tanya Ashley brings to the table. Tanya, thank you so much over at Puff Pass It CBD and more. We look forward to seeing you again. And we still got to break that tie in those dominoes, right? Right, all right. But anyway, so yeah, please go and support Tanya Ashley at Puff Pass It CBD and more. And also, all of these vendors that I am mentioning, please, by all means, go to our website, www.thadailysmoke.com, and you can see Brother Dwight's logo. You can see Puff Pass It's logo. You can see Raps University more, and not rap like as in R-A-P, but Raps as in W-R-A-P-S. Also, we have a host of different vendors. We have Danessa Bowling, we have Tiffany Scales, we have LaDonna, well, I believe she just changed her name, and I think it's Bullock, LaDonna Bullock. All of these people that are bringing different services, whether it's wellness, whether it's skilled labor, such as, hey, there's something you need someone to help put together or ship for you, or whatever the case may be, hey man, just go to our website and you can see all of those services that are being provided, okay? All right, so we got that part out the way. It's about 18 minutes after 7. I think we got started about 3 after 7, so I'm sorry I took up 15 minutes of your time, but let's jump straight into it, and I'm gonna let y'all go. Oh, my Aunt Easter. Hey, Aunt Easter, thank you so much. Aunt Easter, tonight, this is an impromptu show. I don't normally have the bullet points and, all the talking points or what have you, but I heard something today that really, really, really resonated with me, and I wanted to go public with it, and that way we could at least bring a good word to someone that may be struggling with something. So by all means, I do apologize if I seem a little bit unprepared, but God willing, my heart is in the right place, and I want to tell y'all this. I heard a saying today. It says, they are just angry because the truth they speak contradicts the life they live. That's heavy. That's heavy. I know for a fact. What's up, cousin? What's going on, my brother? Good to see you, Danny. Thank you. As I said before, those of you that are just joining us, tonight is an impromptu show, so this wasn't planned, but this was something that needed to be said. And I'll repeat it again if you just joined us. And you're welcome to call in if you have anything you want to say regarding this. But again, I read something, came across something, someone wrote or said, it says, they just angry, meaning those people. They're just angry, or it can apply to you. Search your own heart. Your screen didn't freeze, I was looking at you. Search your own heart. One of the worst things you can do in your entire life is lie to yourself. You have a right to lie to me. You don't owe me anything. So you can lie to me. You can lie to other people because on some level, at the end of the day, you don't owe them anything. They don't owe you anything. So if you feel like you have to lie to them for whatever your reason, by all means. My only request is don't lie to yourself because see, that's when the real problems start. That's when, you know how you see people out there that are struggling with alcohol addiction, struggling with drug addiction, struggling with sex addiction, struggling with whatever the case may be, and they can't maintain it. And you're asked those same people, what was your life 20 years ago? And they'll tell you, oh man, they'll show you pictures. Well, they're on the street, so more likely they can't, but they'll show you pictures in their phone or in their album. Hey man, I had a wife, I had a husband, I had kids, I had a job, I had the American dream, and it all fell apart. Why did it fall apart? Because they lied to themselves about something. What did they lie to themselves about? All right, where you'll start noticing the more you start talking to them, you start hearing something that we're going to speak about next Monday called habits. If you listen to these people, yeah, thank you, Lord, that can be like an intro to next show. If you listen to these people, they will start telling you, I had X, Y, and Z. And if you really listen to them, like when myself along with the other brothers, we went and fed the homeless, which by the way, you ain't too far from either. Miss one check. Let boss come in drunk one day and fire everybody. You're in the same boat, so don't hold your nose up at them. You talk to someone and say, what happened? Something occurred, whether it was an addiction, an emotional meltdown, whatever the case may be, that you're not too far from yourself. More often than not, they had a habit or a behavior they thought was manageable until the behavior was no longer manageable and everything else fell apart around them. Why did it happen? Because at the very basis, they lied to themselves. Oh no, I only have just one. How much do you drink, Ron? Oh, I only have maybe one or two drinks, knowing the bottle is half empty. Hey man, how many of those blunts you smoke? Oh, I only have like maybe 1 square, 2 squares a day, knowing you buying an ounce every other day. Hey man, where's that beautiful wife? She really loved you. Where was she at? Oh, well, you know, man, I stepped out on her 1 or 2 times because I got this sex addiction. I stepped out on her 1, 2 times. She got tired after the 5th time you broke her heart, or his heart. We don't have to bring sex and gender into this. It can go either way. The point I'm making is they are just angry because the truth they speak contradicts the lie they live. I love that. I love it on so many levels because the first thing it deals with is anger. Why are they angry? Because you know what you did. You know what you did. Just like when you was a little kid and you did something that you had no business doing, or your parents or your foster parents or your brother that raised you or your sister that raised you or whatever as a kid, they set down rules. Rules are there so you will know what the appropriate behavior is. don't mean that the rules are always fair or right. They set down rules. They prescribed a course of behavior and action. And when you felt you wanted to do something different, there was a consequence to be paid. When you didn't maintain whatever that agreement was over time, then there were more consequences to be paid. Sometimes you lost a loved one. Sometimes you lost your health. Sometimes you lost your life. It's true, because you can't lose your life. Sometimes you lost your friends. Sometimes you are totally unrecognizable from what people know you as. Why? Because you think you got a hold on this addiction. You don't. And that's the evil of the addiction. The evil of the addiction is it's not drinking the alcohol. It's not doing the drug. That's not the evil. The evil of it is it deludes you into thinking it's not that bad. And now your house is torn down, your family is torn apart, your job is gone, your sense of dignity, your own health, it's all compromised. Why? Because you're angry. Because you know exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Go and ask any homeless, addict, or anyone that's homeless, but they don't even have, it doesn't even have to necessarily be a fault of their own. Ask someone that is in a compromised situation, how did you get here? And I guarantee you, if you listen really good, at the end of the day, you know exactly what happened. But because it's easier to blame someone else for your problems, then now you can do what's called projection. That's one of the first terms you learn in psychology, projection, which is another way of saying you put off on other people that really applies to you. That's deep. You put off on other people what really applies to you. They just angry because the truth they speak contradicts the lie they live. The lie they live is what is in contradiction to what they know is not appropriate. It's not an appropriate way of behavior towards yourself and a regard for yourself. God knows it's not the appropriate behavior towards your other, significant other. It's not an appropriate behavior from all the sacrifices that your parents, your brother, your sister, your foster parents, whomever, the sacrifices they made in their lives. Your life is an utter failure to this point because you're living a lie and you know better. I'm going to say this again, y'all. This is not about drugs. This is not about alcohol. This is not about sex. This is about not being able to manage your life. And as a result of that mismanagement, you find yourself in a compromised situation that you know that you are above. And that's why you're angry, because the life you live in is a contradiction to the truth of what you know. Let's go forward a little more. Absolutely, my brother. Accountability is very important. You're absolutely correct. Accountability is important. You know why accountability is so important? Because it recognizes you to have to come face to face with the problem. A drug, okay, I can only speak for me. A drug dealer, and when I say drugs, I'm talking cocaine, heroin, all that unnatural stuff. Matter of fact, we can almost consider alcohol to be a drug if you really want to be honest. It's not natural. They can stay next door. As long as they make their rent, we ain't got no problem. As long as I make my rent, I ain't got no problem. We have no issue with each other whatsoever on a one-on-one basis. No problem. But if I have a deficit in me, I now owe him or her next door. And now I'm going to compromise my housing, my home, my shelter, one of the basic needs of any human being's life. You need food, water, clothing, shelter, and then you start moving to stuff like love. Man, you didn't compromise my shelter and everything else because now I have an addiction, something that is unmanaged in my life. In order for your life to get unmanaged behind some kind of addiction, it has to be drawing on something that you haven't resolved in yourself. So putting the cocaine man out of business doesn't solve your problem. Your problem doesn't get solved until you deal with you. And the only way you're going to deal with that problem is, as this brother just stated, accountability. All right, let me keep going. Oh, I lost a lot of viewers. See, that's the problem. We don't want to know the truth. I bet if I was showing my booty or dancing or doing something stupid, this room would be off the chain. 200, 300, 500,000. But because somebody ain't doing nothing but just telling you the truth on how to be a better human being, that's boring. They just angry because the truth they speak contradicts the life they live. Not only is that statement true, but it follows up with something else that is just as equally true. How can you properly forgive yourself for the decisions that put you in a compromised place? My brother, let me tell you how. That's a good question, Dwight. And because I'm talking to a limited audience tonight, we're going to speak from our point of reference. So if what I'm about to say offends you or you have no point of reference, this ain't for you. If what I'm about to say doesn't offend you, but you don't understand it, listen, because it just might be. And I am not promoting, I'm not pushing anybody's God, anybody's religion, any of that. I'm talking truth. The brother asked the question, how can you properly forgive yourself for the decisions that put you in a compromised situation? Let me tell you first and foremost, here's how you forgive yourself, brother. What were your expectations? What did you know you could do and for whatever reason you didn't do? Why'd you do it? How'd you get here? Don't worry about the forgiveness part. We'll get to that later. How'd you get here? And you're like, oh, you know what? I did try that drug that was laced with something. That's how you got here? Yes, wrong. You got here when you had that unresolved daddy issue. You got here with that unresolved issue when your mama abused you. You was already here when your wife left you. You was already here. The circumstances just didn't show it. But best believe, you was already here when that man put his hands on you and you kept going back thinking one day you'll change and see the error of his ways, and you're submitting yourself to behaviors that's not even conducive to your health. That's how you got here. You can't even forgive yourself until you realize, how did I get here? It's kind of like a map or a GPS. You know, make a left, make a right, turn here. And you know that you're supposed to be paying attention to this GPS because you're trying to get to a destination. Something distracts you. And you know what the weak man does or the weak woman does? Why was you talking to me? You distracted me. I was trying to get us somewhere. Now we done passed the limit, past the words trying to go about 5 miles. Now we got to turn all the way around because you distracted me. If you had not distracted me, I could have followed the map. Grow up. Pay attention to your goal. And when you get off course, it's okay. Some people's off course is a mile. Some people's off course is the rest of their life. Some people don't even realize they're off course because they're so deeply entrenched in their dysfunction. I'm going to ask you a question, Brother Dwight. but we got to deal with the basics first. Only after you realize how and why you missed the course and take self accountability of why we're now in Memphis, Tennessee, and we was on our way to Los Angeles, California, and you realize, I know why we off course. I'm illiterate. I can't read. That's a starter. I know why we off course. I had the wrong map. That's a starter. I know why we off course. My GPS ain't working the way it should be or what have you. That's a starter. Notice how it all is I, me. That's accountability saying, hey man, I did this. Because anything other than that, you know what you just did? And I ain't gonna even speak no more to this. You search your own heart. The moment you do this, if you hadn't done this, you ain't learned the lesson. You're gonna be right back in the same situation you was in before you ended up in Memphis, Tennessee city limits. And now you gotta turn all the way around and go back past where you started from to get to the destination you were headed to. It's true. Once you take accountability, as this man said, then what you realize is, I messed up, my bad. That humbles you. And when that humbles you, notice how humility makes you more receptive. Being receptive makes you sensitive to what's going on around you. And because you're now sensitive to what's going on around you, you know what that requires? I'm paying attention. Had I been doing that already, we wouldn't have went through this entire roundabout to get back where we are now. Rather, where we started from here to Los Angeles would have taken us 12 hours. But because I wasn't paying attention, now we got an 18-hour drive on our hands. Nope, actually 24 hours. Because I wasn't paying attention. I know that's a hard lesson for some people to learn. I get it. That's a hard lesson. But once you get past that point and you take accountability and you get back on the right course, now forgive yourself. You know why you can forgive yourself? Shit happens. And I mean that literally. You're not going to always pay attention. You're going to be human sometimes, and you're going to go off course. That's a part of the human journey. But if you want to beat yourself up behind you got to get it right every time, and you got to do it this way, and if you don't do it that way, it's wrong or whatever, then you know what you're dealing with? You're still dealing with unhealed trauma. You're still dealing with things that... Here's a quick point, and I'm going to let y'all go with this. Here's an interesting point. Let me show you how deep this goes. And again, for those of you that want to know, that have to know my accreditation and all of that, I'm not saying this because this is something that necessarily established me as an expert, but I'm saying this because I put my money where my mouth is, and I owe a lot in student debts because I put my money where my mouth is. I paid for this education. You know why? There are times where you may do something, let's say like you write, and you go, I'm gonna pick on somebody in the room. Who we looking at? We got Joyce, East. On East, I'm gonna pick on you. You know how you'd be sitting there writing something, and you into it, and you'll make a mistake, and you writing, and you make a mistake, and you go, doggone it, East, what's wrong with you? You're so stupid. Not that I would ever say that to my aunt, God knows I wouldn't. That's the nicest woman ever on the planet. But you know how you talk to yourself. There's no one else, like there's no one else here. You know, you talk to yourself and you say things like, doggone it, Easter, what's wrong with you? So stupid. Oh, my stupid self or whatever. You've done that. And it's not just on Easter. I'm just saying all of us, we've all done that. You know why you do that? See, you're thinking because you're thinking you do that because that's how you talk to yourself. Wrong. Here's why you do it. When you was around 3 years old, maybe 4, but around 3 years old. The people that raised you, or the people that was the primary influence in your life, whenever you made a mistake, that's exactly how they talk to you. And after hearing that over time, you internalized those voices into your head. So now, when you make a mistake and you go, doggone it, Los, or oh, she's so stupid, doggone it, what's wrong with me, Tiffany? You know where those voices coming from? They're not coming from you. Those are voices that are coming from out, that's coming from within you, that were placed in you from your primary caregivers or the major influences in your life. That's how they used to talk to you. And the reason you don't know that, all of you, the reason you don't know that, none of you knew this, is because it got so embedded during a time of your most impressionable formative years that it became a part of your psyche. Think on that for a minute. Now do you see why it's so hard to do what the brother asked? Hey man, how do you forgive yourself? Because you're reacting and responding and behaving from a place you didn't even know. You really thought that was you. So you thought if you went to enough of these self-help classes, I love me classes, these classes that, hey, I'm up and I'm this and I'm that or whatever, and I say this to myself enough times, I'm start thinking away, but then all of a sudden you'll find your mind drifting back to those dark places when you're alone. You know why? Because you're going back to your formative years. Now, rearranging all of that, we got people that can reprogram you. We got Dwight Morris. We got Vanessa Bowling. We got Tiffany Scales. We have LaDonna Bullock on here. We got some people that can reprogram that negative thinking. But you can't forgive yourself for your actions if you don't know where the actions stem from. I just told you where your self-talk comes from during the most impressionable point in your life. So if you find yourself hard to forgive yourself, I got a question for you. Which one of your parents or your brother or sister that raised you, or whoever raised you, or the taskmaster, mother, whatever foster home you were raised in, or taskmaster father, whatever, period. My question to you is, which of them was strict? And don't lie. And the opposite is true. When you are raised in an environment where there are no rules, the same programming gets put in there. And you're asking yourself, why can't I finish something that I ever started? Why can't I go ahead and, see this through to the end? Like I had these great ideas, but they all just like shattered pieces around me, incomplete. Who didn't teach you structure? How were you potty trained? Freud was right on that one. Sigmund Freud was definitely right on that one. Because it wasn't about the potty train. It was about the way you were engaged and they interacted with you. That's what he was hitting on. Okay, let's go back. So anyway, who are you listening to? And only then, once you're honest with yourself, you know what, man, my such and such was really hard on me, which is why I'm really hard on her, which is why she is really hard on her son, and why her son is really hard on his daughter. Generational curse. So that is the problem, brother. It is not that we cannot forgive ourselves. It's that we don't know how to forgive ourselves, because we believe like if we don't deal with the root and we just try to deal with the manifest information or the manifest behavior or the behavior on the outside that everyone can see, then what you did was you changed your behavior, but you didn't change your thinking. You didn't change your thinking, it's only a matter of time, because the body follows the mind. So these were thoughts that was on my mind this evening, y'all, and I really felt it important to bring this lesson to everyone, because I effed up. That's true. Got to take accountability for the things that one does things one does that may not be good. Again, yeah, ouch. Yeah, absolutely, mom. Absolutely. And this ain't again, y'all, this is not aimed at anyone. The only reason I'm talking about this is because I want to get to a bigger point before we're done. They just angry because the truth they speak contradicts the lie they live. So if I'm a wife beater and I'm on a show called Respect Your Woman, every time I get in front of that camera, everything that I just told you out of my mouth was a lie in terms of how I applied it. So that's why you'll be like, my God, how did Stevie Wonder go to jail for beating his wife? Ain't that the dude that wrote the song about Happy Birthday to Martin Luther King and all that? All the beautiful music that he wrote. How could that man write that beautiful music and beat his wife? Which, by the way, is something that I heard as a kid, I think, and I think he did, get caught up on that as a kid when I was young. That's a long time ago. But you're like, that's because you're looking at a walking contradiction. Doesn't mean he's not a good person. Doesn't mean he's not trying to be a better person. It just means that he got triggered. And when you get triggered, you know what you get triggered by? Them demons you ain't deal with in your own self. You don't have to lie on nobody when the truth is bad enough. There's no reason to lie on nobody when the truth is bad enough. But unless you're able to face that horrible truth, you'll never be a better person. Never. Never. And that is why every time a liar stands before you and starts professing truth that they don't live, the first thing you pick up on them is you're a hypocrite. And that's really what I want to talk about. I can't stand a hypocrite. A hypocrite triggers me. And the reason a hypocrite triggers me, it's not so much that I'm one, and I may be one, and I probably am one in certain areas of my life. God willing, only by Jesus. But I may be one. But here's the problem with a hypocrite. I'll tolerate a liar before I tolerate a hypocrite any day. Because the difference is a liar, they told you something. A hypocrite, they told you something that you should be doing that they are not. See, the problem with a hypocrite is, and there's this saying, if you don't address the wounds that you were injured by or cut by, you'll bleed on people that didn't hurt you. If you don't address the wounds, the cuts, whatever injured you, you will bleed on people that didn't hurt you. Recovering alcoholic here. I can't tell you the number of women I ran off because of alcohol. But not because of alcohol, but because of unresolved trauma. Alcohol helped it come out. It made me relaxed. So now I can really be me. I hurt some really good people in my life. I'm not telling you this because I'm proud of it. I'm telling you this because from 7 to 8 o'clock every Monday and Wednesday, I'm not here to waste your time. If you don't address your wounds, you'll bleed on people that didn't hurt you. That's something to think about. And I think that's a good segue when we get ready to talk on next Monday, and hopefully everyone that comes to the show is willing to listen to us. And be willing to take part in the show, because I don't want to just sit up here and talk all day. I know what I sound like. But be honest with yourself. Always keep it real with yourself. That's not my business. And you can lie to me. That is your obligation. That is your will, and I will never hold it against you. Other than I thought you loved me, But that's cool too, because at the end of the day, that's your decision. But my prayer to you is, please don't lie to yourself. You'll wake up one day. If you lie to yourself, you'll wake up one day and you'll realize everything you've been doing is a lie. And that's how you go get the gun and blow your head off. That's how you go get the medication and you take yourself out from overdosing. Don't be that person. Please don't. Because life is so much more and so much more beautiful. I appreciate each and every one of you all that tuned in this evening. This was totally impromptu. This was not planned. I just heard the statement that they just angry because the truth they speak contradicts the lie they live, and that really hit me. So thank you all so much. I love each and every one of you that have watched this show. I won't hold you up anymore with the 750 mark. So again, hopefully we'll be able to see. We will see Brother Dwight Morris on our show next Thursday, I believe. Really looking forward to that. I believe in a couple of weeks, Tiffany Scales will also resume her Taboo Tuesdays. And yeah, and also we'll recap everything every Friday that we covered Monday through that Thursday of the preceding week on the Daily Smoke Live. So I'm your brother Ron, and thank you again, brother AK Babers, man, of AK Realty. We got a good response, and if you all did not get a chance to see that show, it was very informative. That brother dropped some real knowledge on us, and I loved every minute of it, man. And hopefully we will see more of him to come in the near future. So I'm your boy, brother Ron. I got to go ahead and finish doing this work I was working on. I love each and every one of you. God bless. Take it light, keep it real, and I'm out. Peace.